Hello, good evening. Welcome to another review from DWC, and tonight I'm reviewing one of my favourite Spitfires from the Corgi range, and this is AA 38705, a Spitfire Mark XIVs with the clipped wings, representing the aircraft RM135 coded YBA, and of course the famous squadron leader James Ginger Lacey, who was the commander of 17 Squadron, and in this case based at RAF Selatar in Singapore, late 1945 post-war, after obviously the Japanese had surrendered. So let's get in now and let's have a little look. So here we are. Let's get into the box. As I sort of touch upon, this is in the pre-Hornby age, when you had the sort of the black lineage around the box and there wasn't as much sort of detail and background on it. This one is one of 3 I have in the collection, so it's moving on to a new home. But in these days, only 1,200 were produced, which I'm quite surprised by. I thought it'd be a really big seller, and this is number 234. And again, as with all Corgi aircraft, at this time they come with their own certificate with a little bit of information around the pilot and the aircraft on there, and in this case in terms of sizing, service ceiling, max speed, and of course how many crew in there as well. And of course on the other side you've got just the box art there, and again nothing unusual in here. Again, very limited what there is. There's no bombs or anything to attach. This has got the newer style Corgi stand with the solid base, and of course all the up and down undercarriage. In this case it was obviously pre-removed before the aircraft left the factory, which is the way I like it. Not that I've mentioned that once or twice. So let me just get the clamshell off so we can have a little look. There we go, and there she is, in a green and brown marking, with the black prop and the white identification stripes on the wings, and of course the Southeast Asian Command roundels, the smaller roundels there to sort of differentiate between the Japanese aircraft and the Royal Air Force and Royal Australian Air Force aircraft. So let's get her out on a stand and have a little look. So here she is out of the box, looking rather resplendent. Of course the spinning prop there, it's quite a stiff one, so it doesn't really want to spin, and of course the iconic Ginger Lacey sort of gauntlet on his hand there, on the side, underneath the exhaust. You've got his kill markings on the side there, so most of obviously German aircraft because he went out to the Far East later in the war, but one Japanese kill on there as well. And of course, as I touched upon, the Southeast Asian Command roundels with the lovely 2 shades of blue there, which is lovely. Really nice little aircraft. Obviously the wings there have got the white identificational marks, and anybody who's familiar with the Corgi Spitfire 14, because it comes with a retractable tail wheel, it does come with a very small piece for the retractable tail wheel as well, to go in instead of the wheel down option at the back there. But it's a really iconic looking aircraft. We've been lucky to be blessed with one of these visiting from Chino for a number of years at Duxford in the early 2000s before returning. I think it still flies in this scheme. And the Confederate Air Force have got something very similar with the bubble top canopy Mark 14 version. And of course, let's not forget the one owned by Fighter Engineering Limited, based at Sywell, has been painted into a post-war Royal Indian Air Force scheme with the different style roundels on, which is stunning. I mean, if you ever get a chance to visit Duxford, it's usually at most Duxford September shows, and it sort of lives between there and Sywell. Really beautiful looking aircraft, and we're very lucky to have it in the UK. That growl from the Griffon as it comes around the corner is incredible. And if you look at the canopy as well, we've also got the mirror there, which is slightly wonky in my one. I'm not going to try and straighten it just in case I end up breaking it. But yeah, nice little bit of detail in there as well. Of course, this doubles up as a Mark 19 mould as well for the Spitfire. What's interesting, when they did this, obviously they put the clipped wings on, and it hasn't damaged the mould, because we've obviously seen the Mark 19 come out several times since, representing different Battle of Britain Memorial Flight aircraft and the Rolls-Royce Mark 19 as well. So unlike the Corsair where they made the mod to it, this hasn't affected it, which is good to see. So it'd be interesting to see with the new Mark V coming out, whether they can do the different types of wings, and of course the Mark 9 as well, which is currently out, whether they can do the clipped wings on that as well, because it's sort of come in from the Mark V onwards, I believe. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty certain that's the case. Right, let's get her on her wheels and have a little look. So here she's down the wheels, and with many Spitfires of the earlier ilk, they don't like staying in these wheels. So sometimes you might, if you want to put it on display, it's probably wise to just put a little tiny knob of blue tack right into the top bit of it, just the tiniest of bits, just helps with it staying in, and of course it's easy to remove rather than using some white glue or something like that. So that would be my tip, to keep it on that. But the new Mark 9 is much better, but for anybody who's got the Rolls-Royce Mark 19, you will know it's a real pain in the backside. So just be very careful displaying them. Like I said, I generally put that tiniest bit of blue cat on just to keep them solid. So a little bit about Ginger Lacey. So James Harry Lacey was one of the RAF leading fighter pilots of World War II, with a total of 28 aircraft destroyed, which is a phenomenal effort, and 4 probables and 9 damaged. So he experienced his first combat over the fields of France in 1939 and 40, and was awarded the Croix de Guerre for his 5 victories during that period. So it was really good. So in June 40, he moved 501 Squadron. We're in the thick of the Battle of Britain, and of course Lacey became one of the highest scoring RAF pilots with 18 victories. He was awarded the DFM in August the 23rd of 1940, and on November the 26th, 40, Lacey received a bar to the DFM for his continuous and outstanding courage and bravery. And he was obviously had some various postings in and around the UK before being moved with 20 Squadron to Kailan, India in the March of 43. Then before joining 1572 Gunnery Flight in July, Lacey remained in India, taking command of 155 Squadron in November 44, and 17 Squadron later that month. Basically, this is his clipped wing version of the 14 that he flew, while the commanding officer of 17 Squadron based in Selatar, Singapore in late 45. For those who don't know, there is a Mark 1 Spitfire as well representing his aircraft. Sorry, to the right, a Mark 1 Hurricane representing his aircraft. So well worth looking at getting that. Just to complement his, if you like having one pilot sort of themes in your collection. So a really good release. This, it just looks right. When something looks right in a Spitfire, this really does. I really wish though they would retool it or add a variation to add the bubble top canopy. It just opens up so many more options, whether it be the Mark 9 into the 16, or whether the 14 into the 18, the 19, but there's so many different options we've got. It'd be lovely to see that, and of course now that Corgi have confirmed they're doing Seafires, it just adds another tool to their toolbox, really, doesn't it? So it just, if people want to build a naval theme as well, it's an option. So there you go. I will obviously do a 360-degree video on this as well as a photo write-up as well. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't subscribed already, please press that subscribe button, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.